Right? Kindly check the audio connection. Participants, kindly check your audio connections. Is it audible to you all?
Yes, sir.
உங்கள் விண்டோ மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் கிளார் அடிக்குது. உங்கள் கேமரா
எங்க சார் எல்லாம்
டைரக்ஷன் கொஞ்சம் மாற்றிக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா கொஞ்சம் பெட்டராக இருக்கும். இல்லை நீங்கள் டைரக்ஷன் மாற்ற முடியுமா மேம்?
சிஸ்டம் சேஞ்ச் பண்ண முடியாது.
சரி மேம், சரி சும்மா ஓகே. மேம் பரவாயில்ல வாங்க.
ஓகே சார்.
ஓகே மேம், குட். பாசிபிலிட்டி இருந்தால் சிஸ்டம் டைரக்ஷன் திருப்பலாமான்னு கேட்டேன், வேற இல்லை பாவம்.
அது இந்த டிஸ்கனெக்ஷனு அந்த இடத்துல தான் பாக்ஸ் இருக்கு.
ஓகே, ஸ்க்ரீன் ஷேர் பண்ணி பார்க்குறீங்களா மேம்?
ஓகேங்க சார்.
வெல்கம் அனதர்
Good morning.
குட் மார்னிங் சார். I hope everything is fine. The connectivity is fine. Shall we start the program, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes. Fine. The live is also live on. Ready, chalo, sir? Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Yes, sir. Okay, fine. I welcome you all. I am very happy to invite you all for the 6th day session of our 6-day faculty development program on emerging innovations in chemistry and chemical technology. I welcome our today's resource person, Dr. T. A. Sukanta, Professor and Head, Department of Chemistry, K.S. Rangasamy, College of Technology, Tiruchenkodu, to deliver the lecture on the title of Innovative Strategies for Environmental Restoration, a Chemistry Perspective. I extend my welcome to all the faculty participants who are all attending continuously on our FDP program. Now I invite Dr. M. Vetrichelvan, Assistant Professor Chemistry, to introduce our resource person. Welcome, sir.
Good noon to all. I am very happy to introduce Dr. T. A. Sugandha, Professor and Head Department of Chemistry, K.S. Rangasamy College of Technology, Tiruchengood. Our research person has completed her doctor program at Avinashi Lingam University, Coimbatore. Our research person is having 16 years of teaching experience. She has published more than 10 research articles in national and international journals. She has presented more than 15 papers in national and international conferences. She is member of editorial board and reviewer in various journals. It is our privilege to have such a wonderful personality as a resource person in today's FTP. I wish to thank you all for providing this opportunity to introduce such a great personality. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now the live session is transferred to our resource person. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to all and all present here. First, I wish to thank the principal, Dr. T. Balamurugan and Dr. S. Chandrasekharan, HOD of Chemistry, Arasu Engineering College, Kumbakonam, for providing me this opportunity. As well as I also thank our principal, Dr. R. Gopalakrishnan, K.S. Rangasamy College of Technology, to participate in this faculty development program. So today I wish to share some of my knowledge on the title Innovative Strategies for Environmental Restoration, a Chemistry Perspective. So we all know that the basic things which is very, very important for everyone, that is food, water, air, shelter to survive. If any one of these basic needs is not met, then humans cannot survive. That we know very well. But there are a minimum list of elements that the human being necessitates in order to fulfill not only the basic requirements as well as to achieve a decent life. Yes, it are not only food and water, but we also need certain essential services like sanitation, education, healthcare facilities, public transportation, etc. So we have to focus, or we are having a pure air, water and food. Shelter, that is somehow we have managed, but we have to think these three prime things. So now you can see in the news channel in Chennai recently, oxygen is given in a packet and it is in the can, like that. You see that the scenario what is happening now. So we also purchase air which is abundantly available in the environment, but we are purchasing for our life to extend in this planet. So that pathetic life has been facing now. Okay, you can come with the water. So now due to the poor rainfall and environmental climatic changes due to various issues, now we are in the demand of water also. So if air and water is in a critical situation, automatically the food that we are getting is also getting affected. So if you are not getting a good mental aspects, so before 2000, there is no such a thing. The government has initiated with the concept of environmental issues. So in 1984, in the Global Environmental Summit, so what the summit has announced that we have to focus on the pollution Control Act and all that. So later, and the individual countries also plan to initiate certain acts. But some of in our country, due to that political scenario, they are having framework, all the legislation act and all that, but it is not seriously implemented. So we have certain challenges when implementing certain things that we, as we aware of it. So, but what we have to think over that in another perspective. So they have introduced environmental science as one of the subject in the higher education. Okay, why they have introduced? So in order to create the awareness, so that what is available in the planet Earth, how we are using it, how we have to maintain it, without which how our life is being affected, like that they have introduced. But that is also not having a serious impact. So let all these concepts have been introduced in the school education right from the beginning. They have to start understanding the science with the environmental concept. So that's why the school education is also introduced the environmental sciences. Even then, what we are doing now, are we really understand about our environment or the thing which is happening in our environment? So let us have a brief outlook over that components of the environment. So this it is broadly classified into two categories: biotic and abiotic factors. So biotic means it is all living things, right from the macro level to micro level. That is wild animals, plants, microorganisms, like that. The abiotic factor like temperature, pressure, and then soil, nutrients, water, air. These are all the things which is essential. Okay, so these are all the two components which is interact with every life beings, which is given in terms of the by an ecosystem. So what is actually an ecosystem is, so interaction between the biotic and the abiotic factor, it must be cyclic. So you know that is cyclic, so it should be well balanced in every aspect. So, but it is not happening nowadays due to the industry after the Second World War. So that you implement and a lot of revolutionary aspect like industrial revolution, agricultural revolution, like that. So after the introduction of modern fertilizers, so why we are using the modern fertilizer to increase the global need of this food. So like we have to grow lot of food, so fast and a large amount of food that we are required for to meet out the world environmental food balance. So what they are doing, so they are using the fertilizer to promote the quantity of the agriculture. So what happens that prolonged usage of fertilizer and the pesticides lead to a lot of issues. So all these facts has to be, so because of this industrialization, air is also being polluted because of the adverse chemicals which is exhausted into the atmosphere, as well as a lot of chemicals that we are used, synthetic chemicals which is used, which is entered into the atmosphere, which lead to photochemical smog and glow and other series of persistent pollutant in the atmosphere will affect the living system, not only the human being but the entire system. You know, where about the acid rain, that you know, and the greenhouse effect. This is another prime important factor that we have to taken into consideration. So that problem is also important in our environment. So all these things will affect the environment, air pollution, as well as our living system. So we have to understand there is a cyclic interaction between the biotic factor and the abiotic factor through the environmental systems. Say for example, food chain, food web, and how it is being entered into the human being. After what is happening, once that a living system is being dead, what is happening to these materials? All these things are getting decomposed, decayed, and it is converted into nutrients. Those things we have to understood. So the what that plant which is taken all the soil nutrients which is available with the help of the carbon dioxide in the air, with the help of sunlight, and which undergo the process called photosynthesis and produces the food. It is very well known this. So why I recall this concept now means if this system will continue without any deficit, it must be very pure. So, but due to the global needs, global needs of what we are doing, we are polluting it. So, what is how we are polluting the environment? Because we are need food. So, for food we are using some agriculture. We are dependent on agriculture. Not only agriculture, we are aquatic food resources also, which is very essential. And also forest in a quantity is also important. You know, for not only that forest resources survive for not only that food as well as the medication value. Some of the medicines that we are using is derived from the forest resources only, and it also purify the air. So it breathes out a large amount of oxygen and takes a lot of toxicant into the respiratory system, and due to the transpiration, respiration and all that, due to some metabolites, metabolism which is happening in the plants, we are getting a pure and good environment by exhaling out the oxygen. So the plant is very, very support us to take the toxic from the environment and give out a good entity. So we depend on the forest resources to this extent. Not only that, a good climate, that is it maintain the temperature of the environment. So we are feel to live in a cold places, that is not too cold or not too hot, but optimum temperature is we look forward. But what is happening now in the present days, it is too hot. So we depend, we are taking the AC for that purpose. It lead to another problem. So this thing I want to make you to understand. If everything which is available in the forest and agriculture which is happening, we are getting a pure air and a good climate with the optimum temperature, that is which is affordable to the living beings. But due to the man-made activities, what we are increasing the air pollution, greenhouse effect, which increases the temperature of the environment and lead to a dry climate, poor rainfall, and that atmosphere that we are creating. So not only that, we need a lot of biodiversity. That is, the forest biodiversity is needed, aquatic biodiversity is needed, and these things are maintained on the air and pure air and the quality of the water as well as soil. So these three things are very, very important. That must be very pure as well as affordable for the plants to get and animals to get, so that we can able to survive a safe and a healthy environment. So you see, this picture clearly exhibits that how our ecosystem is provide a certain good things, a good quality of air, and we have a safety benefits over that, and we enjoy it. But while we are enjoying it, what we are doing it is so due to certain demand process like industries and transportation and usage of fertilizers and pesticides and other activities which affect the environment. So what we are automatically, which affect everything. So what we move forward uh, think over that restoration of the ecosystem. So which is very, very important nowadays to make extend our life on the earth. So that's why our Prime Minister introduced to this year we have to plant a lot of trees. That is a one part of an initiative to restore our ecosystem. So all these things in the past scenario we have affected our environment that we have understood. So if this situation continues, the survivability of the living things on this planet will be a biggest question mark. So what we have to do? Either we have to stop down the materials, that is the usage of certain facilities. So we have to need certain facilities without which we are not able to be very comfortable. So like a fridge, AC and other electrical appliances that we know. So while we are using all these things, we have to harness the energy from the environment and the waste material which is to release to the atmosphere, which will create the trouble. So this thing we have to understood. So this if we understood clearly, then we can go to the restoration of our ecosystem. So everything is polluted. It is a harm. Okay, madam. Then what shall we do? Proceed further. So what we are doing? One we suppose if you are affected with a fever. So if the fever continues, the person may not do certain activities comfortably, as well as they may be died soon also. So what we are doing? We have let the people is let like that one. No, we are going to meet the doctor and we have to get certain prescription and we have to get some medicines and either orally or veins. So we are getting the injection and all that, and we have to recover our body and all the metabolism and make our body to work normally. So that only we have to be very sophisticated. Okay, the same thing we have to take it into consideration. Now, due to our man-made activities, our previous generation and other things, so on so facts we have polluted the environment. Let me not able to let it as like. So we have to take the sustainable measurement. So what that sustainability will address is we have to think about our future generation without compromising with the basic needs of the present, and we have to go for an alternative method. This is one aspect. This is one aspect that we have to adopt it. In another aspect, we have to repair the environment. So repair the ecosystem. We have to take fragment by fragment. As a whole, we have to say it is an ecosystem. So we have to restore. What is the restoration means? It is an intentional activity. It is an intentional. We have to do. We have to start initiate or accelerate the recovery of an ecosystem from the degraded state. So it is already degraded. That's why I have so far I have pointed out some of the points. It is degraded. It is almost degraded. So what is our intention is we have to start initiate and not only we have to think, not only sustainability we have to think and we have to plan something and all that. The sustainable approach is implemented for the past 2 decades, but we are not able to meet out what they are expected. So we are going in another platform, that is a restoration aspect. So here we have to repair the system. So we have to not only initiate, we have to accelerate. That's why every schools and every colleges, institutions and other organization and NGOs with which we have to plant trees and we have to monitor it continuously. In our college also we have to take this mission as a one student one tree for the past 3 years, and we have got a good progress from the students. We make the students to participate in that, and through our Unit Bharat Abhiyan, we have moved to every villages with a certain trained students, and we have planted the tree, and how to maintain the tree for a long, to make them involved in that activity. And then it is when we are allowing our student to monitor the progress of the plants, and now our student is also but make them to involve in the societal implementation, as well as that particular people also made into active. So this is what we have actually, but it is in the small sense. When we have to, the problem is very serious. It is a serious. We are in the critical care side, but what we have taken is a very slow rate, like the raise of our tortoise. So we have to accelerate the recovery of an ecosystem from the degrade. So this, if we do like that, we can automatically, which will improve the health of our well-being, our quality of our people life, and increasing our lifespan, and mitigating the pollution, and reduce the risk of diseases spilling over from the animals to humans. You know how that past 3 years we are being affected with the virus. So by using certain strategies only, we have recovering and restoring our life on the earth. So this is the scenario. So what are all the restorative culture that we have to incorporate in our system is agricultural, and so degrading factor that we have. So before, when we are going to meet a doctor, immediately he is not okay, you can come and sit. This is your the medicine tablet that you can take. This is an injection. This is the tonic that you got it. So he is asking some of the questions, what that you have taken, what is the problem, what is the thing. So he has analyzed the thing. Then only he gives certain decisions. So we have to start our restorative culture, start from the what are all the factors which causes the degrading our environment, degrading. So the root cause. So in simple we can say that what is the root cause for the problems. So the agricultural industrialization, contamination of pollution, urbanization, and other processes that IT infrastructure, and modernization, and the dam construction, and forest fire, and all that. Like that we have to find out the degrading factors. So by which what are all the things which is degraded, and what are all the factors which causes this degradation. So that thing that we have to understood clearly. So then only we have to trial different strategies how to reduce. First our primary thing is how to reduce, and then we can go in the sustainable approach. What is the alternative? That also parallelly we have to go on path. So first we have to try one by one method, and what is the result that you are getting it. So what is the results that we actually get it, and what we have to do it to move further. So we have to adapt another strategy, which is like that we have to try different strategies, so that which one is more suitable, like that. So that's why the research scholars are intended. We have to focus on these areas. What are all the ways by which we have to recover? We have to recover with a good symptoms of a positive restoration aspect. So we have to analyze it like that, and based on that activity, we have to implement certain things in the minimum level, and then to a large scale. Like that only we have to have a practice. So actually this it is one of that one student one tree mission we have initiated with our student in our institution first, and then with their parents and their relatives and their local area where they are living, in that village, in their town. We have started, but now the government is also taking on par with that mission. Now it is you are all aware that everywhere it is implemented. So we are not able to get that benefit soon, but it is a very good measure that we have to recover our air first. So a lot of plants is there. It will absorb a lot of toxicants and releases oxygen. That's why that in the at the beginning I am telling. So oxygen, it is a more and more amount of carbon dioxide being utilized by the plants. Automatically carbon dioxide level is getting diluted. So global warming. So what is the consequence? So automatically the global warming is getting reduced. Greenhouse effect, global warming. So automatically good climate, and then that support the good rainfall also. So if we are improving the good rainfall, automatically agriculture practices will also be improved. So everything is a network. So we have to reduce. So why they are not implementing other activities? So plantation not only reduces air pollution, it also reduces the water and the soil pollution. You know that a toxic matter not only absorbs through the which is available in the air, but also takes certain toxicants in the soil as well as in the water through the roots, and it is accumulated in the plants. So it is accumulated in the plants, but it is purify our soil as well as water, so that we can get a good soil and water. So if this situation continues, we are not able to get that benefit right now. Immediately we are not able to see the positive sign. It will take some 2 years later you can see the progress. 5 years later you can think the progress. 10 years later. So if you see that, if one can do that activity, what will be the benefit that you are getting? You can think about the entire world. We can take part in this movement plantation, and not only one day that we have to go and do this plantation activity. We have to continuously take and care to grow it further and make them to be a big one, so we can get a good benefit over that. So likewise, this is one aspect I am discussing. Likewise, we have to try out our different systems. Take it. So what are all the motivations for the restoration ecosystem? The mitigating impact to ecosystem elsewhere. These are all the identifications. So what I am telling is identifying the factors. Habitat for threatened or endangered species, aesthetic concerns and moral concerns, legal requirements. It is needed that we have to implement, improving the human livelihoods, empowering our local people, empowering ecosystem productivity. These are some of the motivation that we have to give in through awareness programs and all that, so that everyone understand. So everyone understand and take part in the activities. So we have to develop new mangroves, grass and other plantings, natural or assisted regeneration, agroforestry, soil enhancement measure, sustainable management to accommodate a mosaic of land, aquatic or marine uses. These are all some of the activities that we have to implement. Then automatically our environment will be recovered. So these are all the activities which is taking part. Clean up trash along the river or coast. You know that the river is full of due to eutrophication process, algal blooming, so which affect the quality of water, so that automatically the aquatic organism is also being affected, as well as it will affect the quality of the water. So it is not good for living things to consume the water. I may increases the contaminants. So aquatic organism is very important that needs a dissolved oxygen. So dissolved oxygen is not available, aquatic organism will not survive in that. So how these dissolved oxygen plays a vital role in the water is this aquatic organism degrade the toxic materials, that is called biodegradation, which needs oxygen to convert the toxic elements into non-toxic one. So that uses some of the oxygen, and some of the oxygen is being directly taken up by the material which is present in the water, undergo the chemical degradation, and which converts the toxic one into non-toxic one. So that also needs that. Another thing is biodegradation, phytochemical degradation. The phytochemical, that is a plant which is available in the aquatic system, will also consume some of the toxicants and multiply to non-toxic materials. So that is which is we will discuss it later. So like this, it needs the dissolved oxygen. So all these things are needed dissolved oxygen. So this algal blooming, which is a cover over the surface of the water bodies, doesn't permit the air to interact and reduces the dissolved oxygen. So we have to remove the water floating plants. So that is a cleanup activities. Not only the water floating thing, as you see when the rain is happening in your drainage system, small drainage system, you can notice lot of the water which is carrying out the plastic, different types of plastic items, covers, teacups, non-degradable floating material which is floating over that. So that also through the drainage and through that, and all the drainage water is enter into the canals and river streams only. So automatically you can see that also floating over the surface. And then oils and waxes, which is also coming from the domestic side as well as the industrial sector, which is floating over. What happened? These things are not allowing the air to interact into the water, and it will reduce the quality of the water. So we have to remove all these things. So we have to introducing new species, new varieties of plants which sustain this environment and improve the food grains quality as well as quantity. It is very important. Quality aspect is also very important. Not only quantity as well as quality. So what the thing which is so those plants, that is those species which is supporting to remove the toxicant from the environment, from the soil, air, water. So we have to focus on these three prime things repeatedly. I don't want to repeat it. So we have to introduce the species in such a way that it will remove the toxicant either from the air, either from the water, or from the soil, convert the toxic into non-toxic have to be introduced, and the research must be focused on this introduction of new species so that it will be it will support one of the restoration activities. Another thing is we have to cure our soil. So what is the prolonged usage of pesticides, the prolonged usage of fertilizers. So first we have to take a fertilizer. So what are the fertilizer? It is a synthetic inorganic chemicals. So like nitrates, phosphates, sulfates and all that. So we know the adverse effect of these nitrates like blue baby syndrome and our anemia. Like that we have faced a lot of issues. Increasing of mineral content will have our body function like kidney, liver and the central nervous system is being, so our central nervous system is being repeatedly affected with a lot of toxic metals, and these are fertilizers. Our respiratory system is also being affected with the pesticides that we are sprayed to over the plants, which also lead to smog. There is a photochemical smog. That is that derived secondary pollutant will severely affect our respiratory system as well as our central nervous system. So like this, that the thing is happening. So prolonged usage of fertilizer will increases the salinity of the soil. So pH of the soil is being affected adversely. So what happens? The microorganism, which is particularly the bacteria cannot able to survive with a pH greater than certain. So every bacteria is sensitive to certain pH. So that is a moderate optimum pH at which it will show its maximum activity. The less pH, that is acidic, more pH it is alkaline. In that microorganism can't able to survive, and if the microorganism is not available, automatically there is no metabolism, no reaction will takes place which converts the minerals which is available on the soil is converted into soil nutrients. So that you know that is a lot of elements which is available on the soil only, but all the elements cannot be able to taken up by the plants directly. So with the plants which takes certain minerals which is for the growth, maintenance and all that. So those minerals we call it is nutrients. So the nutrients, how this nutrients is being getting by the plants is the soil microorganism converts the inorganic materials into plant assimilate nutrients, that is called soil nutrients. If the soil is enriched with nutrients, then the soil is said to be quality. If the soil is quality, automatically plant will grow properly and we can get a quality as well as quantity food production. Okay, so what happens now? What happens now? Due to this prolonged usage of fertilizer, the problem is we are getting a poor yield, poor quality. So how we have to restore the thing that we have to use as a organic bioorganic fertilizer manures, biomanures, either different types of biomanures we have to use it. Either now we have to think about the micro scale, so we have to come later. So nutrients, we have to go for organic nutrients which does not cause any toxicity to the living things as well as to the plants, and which seriously affect the human being. So likewise we have to take a measurement to recover the soil. And you can see that another thing is usage of the pesticide. So pesticide, you have a prolonged use. The pesticides are organic in nature, which is not soluble in water, which is a deposit on the soil particle as a coating, thin layer. It is coated over the soil and which does not permit the penetration of water. If water is not penetrating into the soil, then how the nutrients, that minerals are get solubilized, how that microorganism convert that solubilized minerals into nutrients. So it is another issue. So we have to avoid the pesticides. So how to avoid the pesticides? That we have to find out. Pesticide is to avoid the insects and other diseases, plant diseases. So we got to find a organic method to how to prevent the diseases and how to prevent from the other infection. So like that we have to think about some later current sciences that we have to follow it. Otherwise Otherwise, what will happen? So if no measures will take to, this is the right time to restore our ecosystem. If not, we will lose our ecosystem as well as lost the life system on the planet Earth. So the effects of climate change, the degradation that have been witnessed around the world have indicated the dire state of our planet. So marine ecosystem is a powerhouse. So like coral reefs are expected to be under critical threat by 2050, with a potentially 90% of threatened and 60% of facing high and very or critical threat levels. So without taking concrete steps to stabilize rivers and mitigate degradation, the damage that it has and will continue to be done will become more difficult to reverse our system. So the most common barriers for overcoming the challenge is lack of scientific knowledge. This is a very, very important phenomenon, factor that will affect the implementation. The lack of government support. So, you know very well, I don't want to discuss it very detail. The government is also not very serious in implementing the Environmental Protection Act and banning of certain pesticides. It is and some of the imported items, raw materials, which is banned in other countries, but it is being imported because so government has to take certain measures, but we are not always blame the government in most of the aspect. We have to change our lifestyle. How to we should not purchase or we should think over the raw material which is available in our country and mostly which is grown in organic. So if we are given importance to that, automatically the scenario will change. And a lack of knowledgeable community. That's why I'm at this. Lack of knowledgeable community. So wherever there is a possibility, we have to address that. What are all the adverse effects that we are facing nowadays? If this situation continues, our life will be very biggest question mark in future. Is really an asset that we are given to our young ones. The mostly what we are thinking, we have to get a good gold, some finance account balance, houses and lands. These things that we are thinking that these are all the things, the wealth that we have to given to our children. Really, is it a wealth? We are improving our environment. We are in all aspects, and may you are giving a poor life, and automatically poor health. Automatically, the lifespan will be reduced, and you see nowadays the average life is reduced to 40. Now, recently we have a statistic which is released by the WHO and our Indian strategy. The age between 25 to 30, a lot of people is died with a heart attack. Died with a heart attack and then liver disorder. And most of the people are facing the joint pains, particularly the knee pain. It is myself also being affected with the same scenario. So, what is about the vaccination? We are overcome with the corona, but the other metabolism is being affected. So, we have to think over that how to restore our system. So, whenever the government is taken to certain things, introducing certain things, but they have to be continuously monitored. Then only we have to enjoy the fruitfulness of this implementation. So those things, at least to our family, first we have to adapt ourselves and educate our family, and then our relatives. Like that, we have to develop these things, and definitely, so over a period of time, we can retain our ecosystem And this is the really wealth which is going to be given to our young ones, and that we have to take into consideration. So we have to do certain lot of research over this, and we have to write a research paper. We have to take such interview papers over that. We have to publish it so that and that has to be addressed to our students, so that the students can plan their project in such a way that they have to take in all these aspects, even though it is a computer science and IT, or in the mechanical or mechatronics, or in the civil, whatever be that, it is our hand, it is in our faculty hand. We have to educate our students. We have to give a lot of inputs and insights to our students, so that and we have to guide our students to focus on the environmental related sustainable projects, so that but now which is not being attracted right now, but a few days later, few years later, that will be a good wealth to you and a good knowledge to you. You can our life and our teaching career become more meaningful later days. Definitely you can enjoy that. And then another thing is the lack of financing. So whatever the thing which is needed, that we have to need a financing. So we have to find the way in such a find out what are the way to get that materials and the support from one-to-one network system, and reduce the cost of the production, like that. So in the one student one dream mission, we have take part through our in our chemistry department. We have a EcoCare club. In that club, and using the volunteers, we have give an awareness practice to seed ball making, and we have another team in our college, service motor volunteers. So we have taken that students also together, and we have to go to the forest and other areas throwing the seed ball, and we are giving that training how to with certain forest departments and other nurseries. We are how to make the cuttings, how to make the seed ball, and how to grow in our own nursery itself. So with the biotechnology support, we have established a good nursery in our college, and through that we are using the previously we have purchased from some outsiders, and from the government support we have get it. Now we are being self-supported. Like this we have to think of. I am telling one example that we have implemented in our institution. Like this, you have to think, you have to implement certain aspects in your career, so that we have to meet out certain financial support. And then the final, which is very important, lack of inspiration. This is very important. So inspiration makes everything respiration. This is the thing that we have to take into prime consideration. If you are interested, then only you may implement. If implemented, automatically you can inspire your students. If you are inspired your students, then automatically it will inspire the society. So inspiration is very, very important. So what are the, so now we can move over to that for common methods for the environmental restoration. In scientific point of view, we have to think. So it can be classified into physical methods, chemical methods, biological methods. So in physical methods, usually in the beginning of any remediation projects, start of cleanup, that we can take into consideration. When concentration of pollutants are very high, following physical methods may be used: pump and treat, venting, soil vapor extraction, slurring, like that, air spurging, air stripping, excavation, electrokinetic method. Like this, we can implement certain methods. So these methods, so when we implementing the physical methods, the mechanical engineering will support to a great extent. So we have to, as a chemistry point of view, we have to think about what are all the things that we have to use the physical method to remove from the environment, either from the air or water or the soil. We have to think of, we have to plan the research over like this, and then we, with the support of mechanical engineering, we can devise a lot of devices based on these aspects. Biological methods for the environmental restoration. So this method is mainly adopt remove the inorganic pollutants as well as organic pollutants. So like sulfate reduction, phytoremediation, bioabsorption, bioimmobilization, biostabilization, that is a biofiltration, denitrification. These are some of the biological methods. So biological methods are more significant, safe, more accurate, more prominent results. The only thing is finance. And a lot of manpower is required for the maintenance. So biological means that we are using definitely microorganism. If we are using microorganism, we have to, for the prolonged usage of microorganism, we are cultivated regular. So that needs some certain facilities. So certain facilities, that is the laboratory facilities is required to culture more and more microorganisms. So it need not only, you know the biotechnology and the laboratory, that is should be easy, current is required, chemicals is required, and people should monitor over that, and it should be tested. So lot of process is involved. Okay, lot of process is involved. So it is economically, it is costly. And another thing is the microorganisms. When we can go with a biological support, these are all very sensitive to temperature, pH, and the chemicals. Certain chemicals are, most of the chemicals, not the certain chemicals, most of the chemicals may be toxic. Okay, so automatically the microorganism died. If the temperature and the pH should be optimum. It should not be too low or it should not be too high. It is under certain pH and temperature only. It shows its maximum activity. So the maintenance, not only in the laboratory for the culture of a microorganism, when we are using in the land, that is land, already our land is soil, air, water is being polluted with a lot of chemicals. So if you are implementing, automatically the microorganism may be due to that toxicant may be died, or else the temperature it may inactivate the microorganism. So like that is that pH. So these things are play a vital role when implementing the biological methods of environmental restoration. Even though we may implement laboratory scale, it is quite good, but large scale it is quite impossible. So we can this is by some of the biological methods to remove the organic pollutants. So that is the suitable and the affordable method is only the chemical methods for the environmental restoration. So for pollutants, the following chemical methods we can adopt it. The first and foremost phenomenon is a chemical oxidation. The oxidation means breaking of the bond with the help of oxygen, not only oxygen. So addition of oxygen. So that is called oxidation. So chemical oxidation, we are either we can do it directly. It may take photochemical oxidation is also taking place, or we can use certain photolight. And another thing is some of the oxidizing agent that we have to use it. Another thing is next one is we can go in depth later. Surfactant flushing. Surfactant. So we have to find out certain surfactant, that are oily and wax matter which is floated over the water surface, as well as some of the oily matter which is oily matters and organic matters which is stick over the surface of the soil. We can use best the surfactant. So surfactant is a certain detergents that we are using. That detergents also we have to choose it by using the plant origin or animal origin. So that surfactant that should be, you have to choose the surfactant that should be degradable by itself. It is degradable, like that you have to choose it. Once we have to use the surfactant, what will happen? This surfactant will soluble. It contains both polar as well as non-polar end. So that polar end will solubilize water and non-polar will solubilize these oil, wax and insoluble organic materials and make into be a emulsion form that is not being affected, and you have to adopt certain precipitation techniques so that it gets settles at the bottom. Okay, that has to be removed easily. So surfactant pressing we can use it, and precipitation. So we have to do it directly. So in our home itself we have to these things already you know very well. So while we are preparing the ghee from the butter, so what we are doing, we are adding certain salt over salt or sugar to that butter, so that at the beginning you can see when the butter starts melting, you can find that some of the scum which is find over, which is not required. So that material is floating continuously, and what happens later days it takes a lot of time. Suppose if you are adding certain salt or a certain sweet, that is sugar molecule, that what happened, that will take a precipitate, that is actually you are act as a surfactant to that one, so which will precipitate that one and make them to settle at the bottom. And now once the process, it will take certain time. After that, once it is getting settled, you can see the ghee clearly. You can understand this principle. The same principle is applying in the precipitation technique. So first it is growth and masking or sequestering, like that we have to call by any name. So whatever the thing, ultimately it gets settles as the precipitate. Okay, so that precipitate may be settled or it can be removed by filtration process. This is another technique that we have to follow it through our chemistry as well. The fourth thing is immobilization. What is immobilization? We have to reduce the movement of that particle into the system. So immobilization, we have to either use certain filters. So suppose the filters which is having some absorbent, either we can go with an absorption mechanism or else adsorption mechanism. We can absorb that material either on the surface or into the system. We can immobilize some of the impurities. Like that we have to remove the toxic materials. And then solidification. Certain materials, even it is available when the toxic material in the liquid form or in the gaseous form. Suppose if you are bring down the temperature, it becomes solid. So solid we can easily remove. So that we can collect. So whatever the thing which is very toxic, we have to collect all the material and it should be stored. We have to follow certain strategy to dispose these waste chemicals. So that you have to understand, either deep buried or we can go injection well method, or else a concrete well method. You have to store it and close it and seal it, and it should be informed properly, addressed properly, so that in future no one should open the thing. So like that, or deep buried or deep ocean, like that we have to do certain strategy to remove that, and then chemical stabilization. So this is another method that we have to adopt. That is a certain chemical toxic material we have to add a certain reagent suitably, and which is being stabilized, and some of them are not it is exposed to the environment, it get decomposed. Say for example that the from the air conditioner and the refrigerator, the chlorofluorohydrocarbons which is exhausted into the air, we have to find out the method which should be either absorbed, or else we have to go for a chemical stabilization that should be stable and absorbed, and it is be stable. It should not be allowed to decompose, so that only that derived derivative causes the pollutant. Like this, we have to adopt either one of these chemical strategies to remove the toxic elements. So I will list out some of the methods. It is not possible to cover all the things. Some of the methods that we have to given for you. So potassium permanganate, hydrogen peroxide, calcium peroxide, pentose reagent. It is a very good one. It is a green and it is a, now we are talking about a green and green chemistry. That is, we have to go adopt a green solvents. So pentose reagent is one of the green solvent, and activated sodium persulfate, ozone. These are some of the oxidants that we are using it. We have to think about some other oxidants that should it is a green oxidant, so that we have to overcome from the point of source itself. We have to remove the pollutant. So these are all some of the oxidative reactive species from the pH oxidant, from ozone, O3, peroxone, O3 hydroxy radicals, like that in pentose reagent, hydroxide radical. So like that we are getting the different types of radical. We can use, so we have to choose the oxidant in such a way that which will sequence, that is due to that certain series of reaction, it will absorb the toxic materials. Like that we have to choose. This is I'm telling one method, it is a circulation method. So wherever that is in groundwater, this is you have to select a suitable oxidant and make it to be flow into the groundwater by suitable technology. So it is removing. Like that we have to supply into the system. And we can go with the circulation method, injection, say wells, that is a vertical, horizontal, trenches. Like that we have to find out the suitable circulation methods by which we have to send the chemical oxidant, so that we have to oxidate the toxic into non-toxic. Likewise, we have to recover soil, air as well as our water also. So these are all some of the compounds that has to be oxidized. So these are all very the chlorocarbons, polychlorine, biphenyls, pesticides. These are all having a severe adverse effects. It is not able to degrade. So you have to choose the suitable oxidant, choose the methods, one oxidant or the continuous using of hybrid oxidants. Like that we have to find out the way to degrade these sort of chemicals, serious chemicals by chemistry. This is possible only by chemistry methods only. You see that this is one of the method by spraying technique. They are exposed. This is a mechanism which is involved in the surfactant flushing. So we have to add the material into that, and which will cause the emulsification. And if you adjust the system in such a way that either emulsified, it is not being a problem, we can go that. Otherwise, you can solubilize it by adding some of the solvent, so it gets settles at the bottom. So that we have to. So this method is we can use it in the air. So Yeah, it is the effective only, little bit effective in the air. We have to find the research will be continue on the suitable mechanism by which a pressing into the air to get the recovery, but it is in the some of the research level only, and some of them only under practice. So we have to think over that. So we can choose the surfactants, either anionics, non-ionics, or cationic comforts, which is act as a surfactant. So how this surfactant which is working, that is first it reduces the interfacial tension, then emulsification or the solubilization, then solidification and gets settled down. Here are some of the techniques that we can adopt in the so stabilization reduces the hazardous potential of the waste material into the least soluble forms and converted the liquid sludges and physically non-stable hazard waste into stable solids. So this is the method we can adopt it. So how this is the this is a very important in the oily waxing matter, particularly in the industrial aspects. So this is a super fun program which is implemented. So environmental restoration from the chemistry perspective involves the application of chemical principles and the techniques to restore and remediate polluted or degraded ecosystem. So it is aimed to improve the quality of air, water and soil by identifying, mitigating and reversing the effects of chemical pollutants. So chemistry plays a crucial role. How this is very important that we so far we have think that. So another thing that I would like to share is a chemical coagulant propylene, how it is being emulsified. So we have to focus more on this aspect is a nanotechnology that we have to adopt. So whatever be the chemistry aspect that we have to use it, we are also limited to utilize the chemicals to certain extent. So we are also not to use adverse chemical for the synthesis or the characterization or not too toxic and like that we got to trade. So we have to reduce our chemical either to go with a green solvent or else with a nanotechnology. So what is the main feature with a nanoparticle is a more surface area, small volume, higher, that is which is become very stronger and stable, which is durable for a long time, which is may change its electrical, physical, chemical, and biological properties. So makes chemical or biological reaction which is very easier. So that's why we have to focus more on this to implement a lot of wonder on this. So some of the innovation in nanotechnology for water treatment I would like to notice, that is nano adsorbent, nano metal oxide, nano membranes, photocatalyst that we have to use. So the nano absorbent may be of any of these types, nano polymeric nano adsorbent, zeolites, metal based nano adsorbent. These are all very affordable cost only we can able to synthesize. So we can go for these nano membranes. So this nano either single layer or multi-layer membranes. Nowadays nano mimetic, that is biomimetic nano networks that has also been synthesized. Nano composite membranes we can focus. So conventional nano composites, you can see the surface coating. Now it is being surface coated as well as thin film nano composite. is very useful in these treatments. You see that thin film technology, so the electrospin technology that we can adopt it very easily with a less cost, which is very, it is mainly useful to remove the heavy metals, particularly the arsenic impurities, chromium impurities. So nanofiber membranes that we can adopt it. So the nanofiber membrane, which is a very permeable, it is very highly permeable, highly selective. It is very important. It is a water purification for drinking purpose as well as for the treatment purpose, because it is having highly selective as well as a high mechanical strength. You see. And another thing is the photocatalysis that we now using. So we have to use lot of nanoparticles to support the catalyst to purify the water. Besides the other technology, the photocatalysis technology is very cheap and best method. So we have to use any catalyst particle and with the use of sunlight, and sunlight itself is enough. So we have to add the catalyst, nano catalyst that you have to add it, so which will do the oxidation and reduction so that they convert the particles. So phytoremediation is another approach that we have to use it. Here also we have to supply nanonutrients to mobilize this phytoremediation effectively. So before we have to implement any of these activities, we have to understand the chemistry of pollutants first and their behavior in the environment. It is a crucial risk assessment and long-term monitoring. These things are that we have to take and into consideration, as well as the chemical state and the transport model, which will help to predict the movement as well as transforming of pollutants, aiding in the development of effective restoration plans. So we must be very thorough understanding. So just like that, we can't able to take one thing and implement in certain things without knowing the long-term pollution issues that we have to take into consideration. So these things that we, another environmental restoration is the use of chemical amendments. That's why I have to go for with the green solvents. So to our treatment to mitigate the pollution. They say, so automatically what we have to do, we are using green solvents and the green methods and to synthesize a nanoparticle and a smaller amounts, which is more than enough to remove the toxic elements from the environment, and it is persist over the entire land, but we can concentrate and focus on and to bring the toxic material together and convert the non-toxic into that is a toxic element into non-toxic. That has to be the foremost by chemistry perspective we have to do. This is possible only by the chemical method, fruitful for long term. So we have to focus on that. In addition to that, activated carbon or zeolite can be applied to absorb or neutralize pollutant in the soil. So thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Sugantha, for the various strategies for environmental restoration techniques. And it was contentful and eye-opening session for us, all of us, in the environmental aspects. Now the session is open for the queries and a discussion with our resource person. Resource persons, discuss with our resource person.
Dr. Sugandha,
Yes, please.
This is Dr. Kumaresan from Rail Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. So my question is, if there is any possibility of analysis of nanoparticles, for example, I am in the field of natural dyes. So we are
Yes,
having so many materials, but is it any possibility to analyze nanoparticles?
yes, sir, definitely, sir. Sir, in our
Where,
laboratory, our
hello.
particle work is working with the nanoparticles for the removal of the dye from the elements. So it is
No,
a
no. So what my question is, where the research centers available to analyze nanoparticles? Do you have any idea, ma'am?
I think she has some audio problem.
So many research centers are available in Tamil Nadu, all over India or foreign countries.
Okay.
But what my question is it any possibility to analyze nanoparticles? Because I am in need of what are the constituents present in the particular, suppose composite material or natural products. So based on that, we can conclude whether it is a natural dye or a composite material. It can be easily give the conclusion for the mechanism of the dye. So that is why I'm asking. Very nice presentation, ma'am.
Nice, 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 sir. Nice question, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can you suggest some chelation method for the water treatment or the metal poisoning? Is that comfortable for handling in large scale? Chelation type, metal complexation, we do know. So that will be possible to reduce or restore the environmental polluting materials, the poisoning metals. Maybe some audio disturbance may have felt. Ma'am, are you receiving? Your audio is not receivable to us.
Sir,
Yeah.
sorry, sir, sorry for the inconvenience. My mobile is overheating, that's why it is getting
Nice, nice.
disconnected.
Nothing.
Okay.
No issue.
Sir, chelation method that we can adopt it, membrane filtration we can adopt it, and the nano particles that we have to adopt some sensor technology to monitor the progress of the material which is present in that system. That work only we are doing in our laboratories, sir. So we have facilities is there, sir.
Okay.
Facilities is there.
Actually, yes, ma'am. Actually, I asked that in large scale combinations that will work.
Yes, sir. We are focusing.
Okay. Fine. Yeah, it can possible, I think. Again, audio is disturbed. Can you retrieve? Ma'am, is there? Are you in live? Yes, please. Okay, fine, ma'am. You are trying to retrieve the connection, but it's your mobile is too much hot. I think it was disconnected. Thank you, ma'am. We will discuss in later in another forum or in a separate chat. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your effort and for a lot of information you provided to us. Now the session is sorry. Somebody is, ma'am.
Sorry for the inconvenience, sir.
No issue, ma'am.
Sir, please make the
Relax,
question.
ma'am. Relax, please. We are waiting for you. No issue. Take your own time, otherwise we will discuss in separate chat. No issue, ma'am.
இது சவுண்ட் வரலையே. Sorry, sir. Hello? Sir, am I audible?
Ma'am, audible da? Okay, it's all right. Okay, I'll call you through phone. No issues. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Fine, ma'am. Fine. Please, fine. Ma'am, be relaxed, please.
Thank you, sir.
And just I asked that chelation process can be done in large scale, or we can manage the waste complexes or the waste materials can we handle, like that I asked him. That's all.
Okay, sir. That we can have sir, a lot of research work is focusing on that. Chelation, implementing that to a large scale. It is under a research level only, sir. It is a trying a certain level. So very soon we can implement to a large scale, sir.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions, dear participants? If you have any doubts or queries, you can just raise the questions.
Very good afternoon, sir. I am Anthony
Yes.
from St. Joseph's College.
Yeah.
It's a general question related to the environmental.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the southwest monsoon rain, so far we didn't get it. And the northeast monsoon is about to start in the month of September end or October 1st. But due to climatic changes, there is a drastic cut in the rainfall. So what would be the reason? How we can reverse the climatic change to the normal level?
So the only possible solution is the plantation, sir. Because plantation only support for the weather. So we controls the temperature by the transpiration and respiration process, and then it reduces the global warming.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So that situation is handled only by the plantation. That's why the government has initiated to plant the trees and keep on watching. So previously you can see that a lot of functions that we can see that planting a tree as a function and then they can go off. Now we have to continuously monitor the progress of the plantation. It is instructed to all the government officials. Even in the last 2 to 3 years back, we can get it plantation from the forest department very easily. But now they have that for the 3 or 4 years, we have to continuously updated the geotech photo for the progress of the work, so that it should be meaningful. This is just like that one day the function for that glory and all that they have to do that, and later on they went up. So it should not be happen. We have to continuously monitor, and we have to bring in more forestation process, afforestation that we have to implement, and you have to bring certain estuaries and artificial forest system. These are all supporting to improve the good climate. Once we can get the climate, automatically it can be reversed, sir. There is no other way to reverse the situation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your clarification. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. That too, the Supreme Court also insisted to monitor strongly the afforestation process. So they are implementing right now very effectively by making the highways, and they are implementing more tree plantation, and they are monitoring and following the growth also, I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Anthony, sir, St. Joseph's College, Trichy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I am also a Josephite student of Joseph St. Joseph's College, Dr.
Very
Kumaraisen.
happy to hear.
Uh,
Thank you, sir.
yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Professor, it is very easy. The monitoring air pollution in most of the places are there. So in our college, Trichy also, so we can stabilize the type of monitoring system. So many the air pollution is a very big problem. The is a reason for reversing this climate change. Very important. The industrialization due to industrialization, the air pollution increased. So that is
Yes,
why
sir.
the reason I think, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As ma'am said, the plantation also nowadays we have reduced planting more trees. We have reduced in a large amount. So
Yes, sir.
maybe that would be another reason also, sir. Thank you. Thank
Correct.
you so much for your clarification, sir. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Any other questions, sir? Anybody? Fine. Then shall we move on to valedictory function? I invite you all to attend the valedictory function. Now I call upon Dr. M. Vetrichilvan to present the welcome address for the valedictory function. Vetri sir?
Good afternoon to all. It's my immense pleasure to welcome you all for this validity function of a 6-day faculty development program and emerging innovations in chemistry and chemical technology 2023. I take this wonderful opportunity to welcome our principal Dr. T. Palamurugan sir, Vice Principal Dr. Kalimani Shanmugam ma'am, Dean of Academics Dr. M. Rukmangadan sir, HODs and faculty members of various departments on this occasion. I wholeheartedly welcome all these 6 research persons and the faculty, research scholars and PG students of various institutions of Tamil Nadu state and other state of India as participants in this exclusive forum. I extend my welcome to all the academic members who are all connected in this medium, each and every one of you at this juncture, and thank you for this opportunity to welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, the valedictory report presented by the convener, myself. Welcome you all. This is giving me a great delight to present a valedictory report in front of you all for this 6-day faculty development program, Emerging Innovations in Chemistry and Chemical Technology, Eicct 2023. It gives me immense pleasure to thank the management, the principal, and the vice principal, and the dean of academics for granting permission to conduct this faculty development program in a successful manner. Now I recollect and visualize the outcomes of this six-day FDP. The 6 eminent personalities had presented their lectures at their highest effort. The number of registered candidates on this FDP is totally 272 candidates. Within that, 240 faculty members and 23 research scholars, 9 PG students have attended. This faculty development program was initiated in the month of August 2023 to contribute a sparse amount of role among the faculty and scholars in the focus of science and technology to revive their sparks in that field. But the efforts made by our resource persons, various faculty members from the various institutions, our friends and colleagues, the FDP is outreached to the institutions across the states. Our invited resource persons tremendously poured their contents and shared their deep views on the topic of our faculty development program in excess on their busiest academic schedule. The title of this FDP is highly correlates with the recent developments, innovative ideas of chemistry to materialize, and amendments in the chemical technology aspects. In the day 1, Dr. T. Marudavanan, Associate Professor, Department of Chemistry, Sonat College of Technology, Salem, had deliberately delivered this lecture about the organic electronic material devices and its fabrication. The second day, the Dr. M. Kumaraisen, Professor of Chemistry, Department of Science and Humanities, Nehru Institute of Technology, Coimbatore, catalyzed to aware on the waste materials to energy. It's a profit technology, sir. And third day, Dr. P. Periyaswamy, Assistant Professor, Selection Grade, Department of Physics, Nehru Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore, meticulously merged us on the graphene for energy harvesting methods. And the fourth day, the Dr. S. Ramasubramanian, Assistant Professor, School of Physical Sciences, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapitham, Coimbatore, plenteous metal combinations for doping in semiconductor devices. The fifth day, Dr. P. Manikandan, Associate Professor, Department of Chemistry, Congo Engineering College, Perundurai. He overflowed by advanced oxidation processes of various organic dyes by photoconversion methods. In the last day, today, Dr. T. A. Sugandha, Professor and Head, Department of Chemistry, K.S. Rangasamy College of College of Technology, Trichangodu. She immersed by innovative strategy methods, informations for environmental restoration by chemical perspectives. They are the backbone of the success of this FDP. The contributions by the participants are a remarkable one on this FDP. They are highly dedicated on attending the FDP on their routine academic processes via Google Meet session. In case of their absence on the meet at the scheduled time, they reported us that they were followed the lecture session on YouTube channel also. This was motivated us to conduct this FDP successfully on every day. There are about 180 to 190 participants of our faculty members, or research scholars, or PG students are benefited by this FDP every day. The key supporters are to be acknowledged here for the grand success of this FDP. They are our coordinators of this faculty development program, Eicct 23, Mrs. T. Parimala, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Arasu Engineering College, Dr. M. Vetrichelvan, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Arasu Engineering College, and all the faculty members of Science and Humanities, the system administrative officers, for their continuous support on the live telecast and timely support provided by the electrical department. I thank you all, each and every one individually, for rendering limitless support to achieve this FDP in a successful manner. Thank you. Thank you all. Now we expect some live feedback about this FDP from participants live. Please, sir.
Sir?
Sir, please tell. You can share your views, sir.
You can share your views, sir. Okay. Good afternoon, all professors. I am R. Annadurai, Head ARJ College of Engineering, Manargudi.
Yes,
I am grateful to Dr. Chandrasekharan, Head of Arasu Engineering College, for providing the wonderful opportunity to provide feedback on the faculty development program and certain emerging innovation in chemistry and chemical technology organized by the Department of Chemistry. Overall, the 6-day faculty development program was a well-organized and informative event. The sessions were well passed and covered a wide range of topics relevant to faculty members. The resource persons, Dr. M. Kumbakonam, Nehru Institute, Coimbatore, Dr. T. Marudavanan, Department of Chemistry, Sona College in Salem, and Dr. P. Periyaswamy, Dr. S. Ramasubramanian and Dr. P. Manikandan. Second, Dr. T. A. Sugandha Madam. It's very good, very knowledgeable and experienced, and they were able to deliver the material in an engaging and effective manner. The content of the FDP were well chosen and relevant to the needs of faculty members. The topic covered were a mix of theoretical and also practical, and they were presented in a way that was both informative and engaging. The resource persons for the FDP, they are knowledgeable and experienced. They were able to deliver the material in a clear and concise manner. And they were always willing to answer questions from the participants. The FDP was well organized and ran smoothly. The sessions were on time. The venue was comfortable and
So I think audio is disturbed. Another is your audio is disconnected, I think. Another is sir, are you in live? So we are not hearing your voice.
are you live?
Please.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. On the nanotubes and the caffeine, green chemistry, sustainable and environmentally process, nanotechnology, the use of nanoscale material to create new products and applications, chemistry to use the computers to model and simulate chemical systems, emerging energy technologies, generate, store and use energy, such as solar cells, fuel cells and batteries. Overall, the development program was a valuable experience for the faculty members. To provide them with a faculty opportunity to learn from experts in the field and to gain new skills and knowledge. Today, the program is very nice. Professor, give the PowerPoint very colorful and more informative. Environmental sustainability, restore, cleaning methods, and several steps to non-stop informative. Overall, the EVS covered. The special heartfelt thanks, Ma'am Professor. Once again, the special thanks, Professor Parimala and Dr. Chandrasekharan. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody want to share?
I am Raghavan from Hindustan University, Chennai.
Welcome, sir.
I really appreciate Dr. Chandrasekharan for organizing excellent session. Everything was on time, well organized, and there was no problem with. Generally, when events are conducted online, we invariably face the technical problems. I appreciate that you have overcome all these things and successfully conducted this program. Due to my busy schedule, I could not attend all sessions, but whatever sessions I attended was very, very good, especially the textile treatment processes and environmental pollution. And today, Madam Dr. Suganta addressing the scale-up process of the treatments. It was very good. Overall, it was very good, informative. And please let me know if you are conducting any few more FDPs like this. I'm very happy to participate. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Welcome. Any other views? Any other suggestions, please? Any other views or suggestions? Okay, fine. Then, fine. Thank you to all. Now I invite Mrs. T. Parimala, Assistant Professor Chemistry, to express our gratefulness as a vote of thanks on this occasion. Parimala ma'am, kindly check your audio.
Yes, sir.
It's unmuted? Please share.
A very good afternoon to all. It gives me great pleasure for proposing the vote of thanks in our FTP. First, I express my sincere thanks to our management, principal, vice principal, and dean of academics for their endless support to conduct this FTP in successful manner. I express my heartfelt thanks to our 6 resource persons individually. I extend my thankfulness to all the participants from various institutions for attending regularly in this FTP. On behalf of the Department of Chemistry, I show my gratitude to the faculty of SMH, technical team, system admin, and those who were helped us directly or indirectly for providing continuous support to organize this FTP successfully. I extend my sincere thanks to HOD of Chemistry for organizing such as the FTP and for the continuous support on all the 6 days to conduct this FTP successfully. I hope all the faculty and researchers had a great time and informative session on all the 6 days. Finally, I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to express the word of thanks. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you to all. Now the feedback link will be shared within few minutes. That will be available in chat boxes for enough time, and it will be received the feedback responses for 15 to 20 minutes. Take your own time to fill up the feedback link, and thank you for your continuous support. Thank you one and all. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you and congrats.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Please. Thank you. The feedback will be shared within few minutes. Please. Please be online. Thank you. And one more thing, the certificates will be generated within 2 days, 2 working days. That will be probably we will get it by Wednesday, 20th September. It takes 2 days to process. you.